Constance Messmer here, and I am so excited that I have cracked open the vault of ancient material to share a lecture with you that I recorded quite some time ago. When you listen to this episode, you're going to notice that some of the material seems archaic, like when I speak of a 7 chakra system and when I now use 12 chakra system. Those chakras were always there in our energy field. I just never worked with them. I only worked with the ones on the physical body. So it's not that the information's inaccurate. It's my awareness to the information has expanded and changed as my own growth in the material has matured, if you will. You'll also notice that there's going to be magnificent pauses of space with air. And in those moments of silence, I am actually tuning into realms of spirit. I am taking the time to navigate the realms to figure out who should I talk to, who's going to be the best being for me to connect and source information from. And then it's also me conversing in silent time with spirit, and then also sometimes arguing depending upon what's coming through. And I leave those in there so that you can be part of the lecture experience, even though it was live. And so I really hope you enjoy this material as much as I enjoy sharing it with you. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you so much for coming out this evening. Those of you that don't know me, my name is Constance Messmer, and I do a mix of mediumship work, psychic work, and teaching of the same, spiritual work, psychic development. Psychic just comes from the Greek word psyche, meaning soul. And tonight, I wanted to talk to you a bit about navigating the psychic terrain. So from my life, that means how you kind of work your way through your soul's landscape. As you know, we are both physical and spiritual. And when we work on a physical level, we have a gravitational pull that connects downward. But when we work on a spiritual level, the gravitational pull is up. And so I just want to remind you that all good mediums or spiritual workers know that the work is continually up, 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 up. And it's not beneficial to stay in the lower realms of the spirit work. So let me just explain a little bit of that to you now. And then I'm going to take a pulse on where you are in this work yourself. When we think of our own experience, and then we go up into our own higher conscience, beyond that is what is the term astral, which are higher thought projections of people that are living. So there are our own higher thought projections in that same psychic space. And there are thought projections of people that have passed, and also spirit guides and aliens, and up, 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 up. As I said, the gravitational pull is up. Enlightened beings, angelic light, and then what I call divine consciousness, or God, or Great Spirit, cosmic all. The higher you go, the lighter the frequency, and the more joy you experience in those higher realms. Also, often what tends to happen is it goes from a very psychic connection of hearing, seeing, feeling, to a knowingness of awareness when you tune in and get messages from the divine. That is, wait for it, if you go to the realm of spirit to connect. If you're working from the realm of here and now in your meditation or just walking around, you can talk to God or enlightened beings or your spirit guides, and you might hear them as a voice in your head or as thoughts in your head. And in navigating the psychic landscape, I want to remind you it's important to discern those voices of truth that can guide you daily. So just as a little pulse of the room, how many of you have had deja vu, mystical experiences, talking to loved ones on the other side, little hits and bizarreness? Like, come on, everybody, I know you can raise your hands. Like even just a little bit of, good. I see all that, even in the back, this is great. What I've learned from my work is that if you get a group of people together, they can share similar experiences on how they discern those voices or how they get those messages. And then there are some that have a little bit of a different experience. My work is to teach people to find their tool set so that they can learn how the voices or how the knowingness or how the information comes to them. Because we, as you know, are spiritual beings as well as physical beings. And when the physical self passes on, the spiritual self is eternal. And it is this soul spiritual self that I believe we should use to guide us in our day-to-day life. How do you do that? For my practice, it is a spiritual practice, and you work at it daily, much like a relationship, to know the voices in your head or the God within you or the spirits that guide you, so that you can discern what's your voice and what's their voice. So it's a spiritual practice that I take it as a meditation, a daily meditation, that I sit and I call it giving them my undivided attention. So I'm not walking around. I'm like literally, usually I lay in bed or I sit in my chair. And when I have those experiences, the higher I go, the more profound it is for me, for the most part. For me, the God experience when I'm sitting in my chair is quite an awesome experience, oftentimes moving me to tears. Mostly also, it's goosebumps, a warmth in my heart. It's a knowingness. It's like a good friend that when you know you're with, like a, you know when you're with someone that you love and loves you back. It's that same feeling. But the goal is to be able to tune into that and hear those voices while we're walking through our day-to-day life. Why? Why not? But also because those spaces are joy. Those spaces are love. They all come from love. And when we tune into that on a day-to-day basis to help guide us through life, our life becomes that, joyful and love. And it's helpful, especially at various times in our life when we could use some help. What I find interesting for me is that was noticing what have I come into this life with. And so for me, I've looked at my astrology because that's my map, my chart that helps me navigate my soul's journey. So I look at my astrology, and I also look at my family of origin. I believe that we choose our family, and the more that I work with spirit, I realize that we definitely choose our family, or at least everybody that I've seen, and I've seen a lot of people. Listen, it doesn't mean it's easy, but it definitely is where we have some lessons, some valuable lessons. Also in my work, I've had some really fascinating times with past life experiences and the need to unravel the past life experience. It seems to me that family, lineage, and past life experiences are the bits of ego pullback that upset and frazzle our psychic experience or our soul's experience the most. So if the journey of the soul that is connected to all that is all knowing and all truth, it's the ego mind that holds us back. But I don't necessarily feel it's our ego mind, although it is our ego filtration. But I do get that a lot of it is past life influences and present life influences. I want to give you two examples of that because the important thing is to realize we can change our life. We can change the course. That's why it's navigating the psychic train. We could change the course of our life if we're willing to look, in all honesty, at our path and our experience. Not always easy. So one example I want to give you is about, oh my God, I'm going to, full disclosure, do not repeat this beyond this room. I studied Reiki in this life in 1996, 97. But I did it back to back, Reiki 1 and 2. Reiki is a 1, 2, 3 experience. And what it does is it works to open up the chakra centers in the body and helps you channel through universal life force energy out. It's healing energy, it's powerful energy, it's subtle energy. But for a practitioner, a lot of people study it not because they want to be Reiki practitioners, but they study it for their own psychic development. I had done it because I am one of signs. I always want to follow the signs. So here I was playing nanny on the vineyard, and the little boy that I'm watching has this dog named Ray, but he didn't call him Ray. He was like, Reiki, Reiki, come here, Reiki. This was before I knew what Reiki was. I ended up in England with a friend, and we go to this spiritual B&B, and the woman says, I'm teaching Reiki this weekend. Do you want to learn? And I was like, Reiki, where have I heard that? Reiki, I know I'm supposed to take this class. So I took the class not knowing that it wasn't really, I had no clue what I was stepping into, but I'm really glad I did. Not so glad that I did back-to-back 1 and 2. She was all about, let me teach it quick, because I know you're not going to come back to England anytime soon. She was right. Although I did go back quite a few times after this, because it was quite a spiritual experience for me. It seems to be that I've had past lives in England, and so that's where I go back to regather that power that I've had in other experiences. So I did Reiki 1 and 2 back to back. And that's a lot of energy. When you get these attunements, you get 4 in level 1, 2 in level 2. And I had 4 attunements in the level 1, and then 2 attunements in the level 2, back to back. And we were all supposed to go out and celebrate. And I was sick as a dog. I had my roommate with me, my dear friend Stephanie, and I was white as a ghost. I was like, oh, I don't feel good. I think something's wrong. I don't know what's going on. And so I didn't want to go out, and I went to the group, the couple that ran the B&B, which the woman taught the Reiki course, and her husband was this fantastic, like, energy guru that was a major energy transformer. And I'm white as a ghost standing before them, and I'm like, oh, I don't feel so good. I don't think I can go out. And they said, the woman goes, oh, no, here, darling, in that beautiful British accent that I can't do. Come here, come here. She goes, let me just put my, where do you feel it? And I said, oh, my stomach is so off. Well, this is the 3rd chakra. So it's personal power, self-esteem, who you are and what you came to do. She put her finger on my 3rd chakra. Her husband was by her side. She put her other hand on my 3rd eye, and she goes, okay, this is a past life. This is coming up for you, because when in Reiki, you cleanse and clear out all this stuff, and up comes this stuff, and this was particularly from a past life. She goes, let's look, is this from a past life? Yes or no? She said, put your hands on your heart, which I love. Put your hands on your heart. Yes, it's past life. Male or female? Male. What did you do? I was like, oh my God, I couldn't deny it. I was a like Jack the Ripper. I was like, oh, I didn't want to admit it. I was like, I'm a good Iowa girl. What's going on? So, but my stomach was like, I couldn't deny it. I could not deny it, that I had this horrific past life. And she said, what must you do to cleanse it? And I said, I knew immediately, I have to apologize to all those people. So I sent out apologies in the only way I knew how, which was just on the airwaves of like, geez, I'm sorry. And she said, okay, I want you to take 3 deep breaths and exhale. And as I did, it was like gale force, dark energy winds coming out of my body, out my body. Meanwhile, her husband's there, God bless him, sucking it all into himself. And I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, don't worry, I'm good at this. I'll transform it. I was floored. By the 3rd out breath, I was like, whoosh, all the energy, the dark energy left. He had sucked it up. I called him like the vacuum cleaner, man. All my color came back. You know, I should have like thrown up. I thought I was gonna die. All my color came back. It was powerful. And I stood there going, oh my God, if I didn't experience it myself, I would never have believed someone's story. I was like, I am certifiable. Now listen, I had spiritual experiences all the while growing up. So kind of being open to funky different was comfortable to me. But that whole thing, admitting that I was like a Jack the Ripper type person, was hard. It was very difficult. But what was phenomenal was the healing that came from it. So I say that because I sit there and I thought, well, how did that hold me back? Well, because the universe knew that I was going to embark on a healing career in healing, Reiki and Bowen. I do Reiki and Bowen. And so I had to be willing to step into those shoes. You know, I had to heal the past to move into my future. And that was, for me, a real palpable awareness of how past lives can hold us back. You know, it was in my 3rd chakra. It also made me realize that we're all capable of good and evil. Anyway, it's a choice, for the most part, in each incarnation. I'm going to give you another example of how experiences with family can hold us back. Now, you don't even need an example of this. I'm sure you can go in your mind and get it. But I'm going to give you an example. I had a client the other day who came in, and I just was looking in her psychic space around her. And I saw immediately this woman show up. And this was very interesting to me. This woman showed up on our side and she started nagging, 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 nagging. And I immediately knew it was the mother. But Spirit, I always tune one ear to Spirit. And Spirit was like, no, no, don't tell her. Don't tell her. She's got to come to it herself. I'm like, okay, fine. And I didn't know was the mom dead or alive or on the other side. So I said, I've got this woman. She's a real nag. I said, she's actually nagging you. She's the voice in your head that nags. And so now I'm starting to think, oh, this is just a psychic projection. Carl Jung had a blast with this, figures of the unconscious in the imaginal realm, that we sometimes create these manifestations that take up our psychic space to hold us back in areas of life, or sometimes the good move us forward. But I was starting to look at this going, maybe it's a projection, maybe it's something that she does to herself, because this essence was really such a neg. I knew that it was influencing her day-to-day life. You're not good enough, you don't do it enough, can you clean it better, can you constant. So I'm telling her and I'm telling her, and meanwhile the spirit, I notice, has girth, so I can see through it. It's not transparent. And to me, if they're on the other side, usually they're transparent to me. So I'm like, okay, so she's not transparent. And as I'm telling the woman what I'm telling the sitter what this mother is about, the girl is going, yep, I get it, I know that voice in my head. But this entity, the woman in spirit, is not kind of integrating into the sitter. And in my work with Jungian psychology, if it's a projection, it will integrate into the sitter. Lesson learned, got it over, I'll let it go, move on, not doing that. So I'm like, listen, this nag won't leave. So I said more, this is the kind of person that makes you second guess yourself so much that you are frozen in areas of your life. I'm not a good enough this, I'm not a good enough that, I should be a better wife, I'm probably never be a good mom, all this kind of stuff. And so she's preventing you from actually moving forward in your life. And she goes, could the person be alive? And I said, yes. She said, I know who that is, that's my mom. Do you know, with that, the spirit walked out the door, literally out my treatment room door. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I went higher. I was like, what just happened? And higher up to me is guides that help me with the work, or even God. And they said, listen, this was the mother, but she needed to recognize that was her mother's voice. And her mother holds her back. She carries her mother's voice like a tendril in her life. And so sometimes my work is about what tendrils are holding us back. What family patterns are we repeating? What family patterns are we repeating? What family dramas are we still carrying out to show our loyalty? I don't want to heal. If I heal, then maybe that will make you feel bad. I'll still carry it. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. So both of these scenarios I explained to you because sadly what happens is they hold our ego mind space in a less than situation. We are meant to be bright shining stars of God, love, light on the planet. And when we are holding on to those aspects of ourself that aren't really ourself at all, that are either from our way ancient past, or maybe regrets from this current life past, or from family experiences, we are reliving their truth, not our truth. And so in navigating the psychic terrain and looking at your own soul's journey, I invite you also to take time in your daily practice, to take time in your daily moment to notice what's troubling you, to notice where in your life, listen, let me put it this way, in keeping with the navigational lingo of let's chart a course, we're on the vineyard, we'll go sailing. Look at areas in your life where you're not having smooth sailing. Look in areas of your life where maybe you're going around in circles. Look at your life to say, who do I have as my first mate? What are the tools for my navigation? Where am I headed? Do I really want to go there? And I really invite you to think about changing out your crew every now and then. I think we from my work with spirit and people in healing sessions, a lot of times we interact with the same tribe, and it holds us in place. And sometimes we have to change out our crew so we can reinvent ourselves, so that we can grow, because otherwise sometimes they hold us back. So I'm going to ponder on that one. So I think for me, the biggest thing as to why I teach or why I encourage, because my work is about empowering you to do it yourself, why I encourage people to understand their own psychic awareness and understand their own soul's truth is because in that you are not living your life through any filtration system. You are not living and experiencing yourself through other people's awareness of you. If you could tune in to the powerful presence that resides within you, that will give you all the answers. But you have to be open and honest and willing to look at the hard stuff. Doesn't always mean it's comfortable or easy, but it really is empowering. I think sometimes that some people, I don't really get people in this room are this way, but I think some people forget that we're not alone. You know, that we can always ask what's going on a deeper level. So right now, there's the temptation to tune into people in the room. But in the effort of privacy, instead of walking right up to you, I'm going to throw out some awarenesses. And then we'll see where that goes, and then we'll see what else we want to do. It's such a small group that sometimes it's kind of handy to do these mini reads or these mini workshopping of things that you want to know. Maybe there's tricky things in your spiritual practice and you want more insight on. So, okay. So to the one that has trouble knowing, but what if how do I discern the voice? Sometimes it just sounds like my voice. So often when you hear those voices, it's in your own thoughts, in your own head, and sometimes it's in your own voice, sometimes it's in others' voice. It's with intention when you sit, depending upon who you want to connect with. Listen, it's like connecting on a phone call, I could call my family in Iowa, and I can call my family in heaven. Same with spirit guides or angels. They can help in any area of your life and help give guidance. Or for those of you that are not interested in tapping to outside to guides or angels or that, and just want to tap into your own knowing, we're all connected on a higher consciousness, to divine consciousness, to all that is, to that incredible inner knowing. So discerning that voice within takes effort to a degree. You have to spend time there. You have to spend time so that you get to know that voice and get to know the difference between you and that voice. Usually, I remember when I first started doing the work, I would sit with Spirit and go, okay, talk to me. And Spirit's like, well, what do you want to know? We can tell you anything. What do you want to know? You chart the course, or you lead. I was like, all right, tell me my relationship with so-and-so, or what should I teach this summer? Or what do you want me to talk about? So usually Spirit is saying, you lead the way and then we'll follow. In other words, you tell us what it is you want to talk about, and we'll reveal to you what you need to know. I'm tuning in. I think sometimes people get frustrated because maybe it doesn't happen in the way you'd like, or happen fast enough for you. But you know what's interesting? I'm being told is, and I'm going to use the word you, because, and you'll know if this resonates with you. Listen, I'm getting that God speaks to you all the time, or the knowingness of your heart speaks to you all the time. Sometimes it's even that voice that says, you're exhausted, lay down. You're exhausted, lay down. Because I feel that some of you are energy masters and you take on a lot of energy. And so sometimes Spirit is guiding you to just lay down and have a break so that the angels can come in and do some healing work on you. But when you miss the beat and you keep pushing it and keep pushing it, and then you wondered why you're frazzled, I'm going to say this is your own fault, because you've been getting the voice that says, lay down. But there's the do. No, I have to do. It won't happen without me unless I do it. And so I'm here to remind you that in those quiet moments, when you start to listen to that voice, even the one that says, take a break, when you start listening to that voice, then you'll start understanding and hearing more of the voice. Sometimes I remember in the work in the beginning, God was like, listen, if I can't trust you with the little stuff, how can I trust you with the big stuff? It was funny, before this talk, I was sitting down and I was like, should I do notes? And God's like, don't do notes. I'm like, I want to do notes. And so I'm sitting there with my notes. And I'm sitting over there with my notes, and I'm like, I want to remember to say that. I wish I had a pen. And God's like, just look to your left. And I was like, oh, umbrella. God's like, move the umbrella. I moved the umbrella, and there was a pen. I'm like, well done. It reminds me when you go into some of the shops on the vineyard, Shirley's. Hey, where do you have those screwdrivers with the magnetic? Aisle 3, go down, look, bottom shelf. They know exactly where they are. That's God. Trust me. Trust me. It's practice. It's a spiritual practice. It's discerning that voice and then creating a spiritual practice so that you do it each day. And I give God, listen, I usually work with God, so I'm going to use that word. I give God my undivided attention. But then that way, when I'm doing my life, I even go, what chore should I do first? And it just cracks me up. What happens in the miracle of which chore do I do first? It's the little things. When I was little, I was quite mindful. I was having bizarre I didn't think they were bizarre at the time, bizarre spiritual experiences. I used to run energy up and down my body. And I used to project myself out of the car into the car 2 vehicles back and hear their music, so that when they pulled up alongside my mother and I rolled down my window, then I heard their music and I was like, I heard that. They were games to me. We can all play these games. Ain't nothing special about me, kids. I'm us. I'm you. I think to me it's just that I pay attention. Like I really pay attention. And I just take time to be quiet. In this busy day and age, we need time to be quiet and tune into nature and listen to our thoughts so we can recognize when there's mind chatter and recognize when it's not helpful and when it is. I would notice the subtle sensations of the energy around me and how being next to certain people frazzled that energy. Those are the senses of the soul. Although it was a very physical experience, those are the senses of the soul. I do my best to have my soul guide me in life more than my physical awareness guide me in life. It's not always easy. I have 3 teenagers. Actually, one is 20. I have 3 teenagers. But I was thinking about this. The Waldorf community knows that the child is not so fully in the body till 7, and we all know that the brain is not fully developed till 25-ish. And we know it takes lifetimes for a soul to develop. And I've learned that there is no time on the other side, that we can have a lifetime now at 2017, and then we pass, and have a lifetime in the past in 1940. It's so bizarre. Knowing that, and knowing that in my experiences with working with people and working with spirit, I realized that I can't go in and pass judgment on anything. And so I encourage you to be open-minded and open-hearted as you move through your life. Because when you can hold that space and unravel your own ego expectations or hold back your own disbelief or fear, then the miracles can occur. And you get into what some people call the Tao of life. And it's kind of freaky. So some people pull back. I think that's why some people don't want to take the time. But I'm noting that several of you in this room have done lifetimes in mystical experiences, in dedicated spiritual practices where you didn't have the day-to-day life. And you came back in this incarnation saying, I think I'll experience family at the same time. I think I'll experience hardship at the same time because I think I can do it. And I want you to know you are doing it. But I encourage you to pull on that inner strength of your seasoned soul and to tune into the awarenesses that you know are true. And to tune into your soul's knowing as you navigate through your life. Because you have the spiritual foundation. You've done the work in prior incarnations. You know, sometimes when we get psychic hits, there's all sorts of different ones. There's hearing in our mind, you know, thoughts. Book titles come to us, movie titles come to us. A song can't get out of our head because it's sending us the message. You know, we need all the help we can get. So we actually think it's us. A lot of times we send ourselves all these messages to let us know we're on the right track. The deja vus. The, oh my God, I know you. I've met you before. I look into your eyes and I totally know you from another life. And thank God I called you back into this one. It's about listening to that, in that silence. It's about, sometimes it's also about seeing. Here's some great fun. I'm going to teach a lot of classes this summer. One is I'm going to teach Reiki, of course, because it powerfully changed my life, opened up my third eye to a fare thee well. And it rocked my world and got rid of that creepo energy. I'm also teaching a class specific for empaths and sensitives called Energy and Balance. It's going to be really helpful. And a psychic development class. Because I believe with this keen awareness, life is easier. Whew. I am telling you it's easier. So one of the tricks that I teach at, I call them tricks, they're skills. One of the skill sets I teach at the psychic development class is seeing in the psychic spaces around people. And one of the things that I teach at the Reiki class is because there's no, I mean, it's totally, what's the word? It's not uncommon that we bring together people that we've studied with before or known in other incarnations. So I always have students go through this exercise where they look at past lives at each other. So I'm telling you, there's this great skill that you could do, you know, as the gazing into a loved one's eyes and asking quietly in silence each of you, how do I know you? How do I know you? And just in your mind's eye, let your imagination go to perhaps you see this soul that's before you, but you see them in different clothes or a different hat or a different face or in lifetimes before. And you can kind of unravel how you've traveled before together. It's a fun thing to try. You might want to give that a go. I've done it with my husband. I haven't done it with my children. Wow, I should do that. It's also about feeling your way. Feeling is important in psychic and intuitive and mediumship awareness because it is with the senses of both emotional feeling and physical feeling that we feel the vibration of truth when we get information, or good psychics should, good mediums. Sometimes you just plug in and you know you're hooked in truth, but it's always good to have the backup source. I have 2 microphones. Same thing with spirit work. And so the feeling of the heart when I'm hooked into truth, or when I feel God in the room and I'm sitting before someone that is a godly person, because that comes out in the sessions. I see that in you. I also feel it. It's a palpable experience for me. Sometimes my heart gets warm. The room gets hot. You can physically feel their auric field. I do a lot of my teachings about that, physically feeling the auric field so that you can know where your boundaries are, so that you can not get them muddled while you're out and about in your physical life. So you note the vibration of truth when you hear the words. I always tell students put their hands on their heart to feel the difference. Oftentimes, too, Spirit speaks to us in a knowing. There's no hearing of voices or seeing of visions or a real physical sensation or emotional feeling. It's just a knowingness. You get downloaded. A lot of people channel in their work. A lot of people realize that in this room. Parents also do it, where you're like, where'd that come from? Oh, no, I'm hearing this. Gifted friends. Some of you in this room are a gifted friend. In other words, you're good at giving advice because it just comes out of nowhere and what you're meant to say flies right through you. And then you're like, wow, that was smart. I should write that down. It's a form of channeling. You know, it's tuning into your own higher conscience to bring the information through, because your higher conscience knows everything. It's connected to all that is. When I studied my Reiki master, it was kind of freaky. I guess there's nothing freaky about some of the things I do. It was freaky because I was going to take this next step to teach Reiki. But sometimes this happens to people in marriages or commitment ceremonies. Their whole life is going to change. But at the Reiki Masters, after that, I was again, like I was feeling out of my body. I was not in my body at all. So I went back to the same lady to study Reiki Master because I thought, geez, she can take out that evil energy that was within me. She can help me through this. So sure enough, in the class, she popped me up on the table and she goes, "Ooh, darling, you're leaving your body." And I was like, is that a bad thing? She goes, "No, it's fine." And I was. It was like Connie Messmer was leaving my body. So Constance Messmer, full conscious awareness, more, not all, could come in. And so she helped me. She taught me how to help someone leave their essence leaves their body so more of their full higher conscience can come in. So that they can walk in life, walk through life more empowered with who they are and what they came to do. I think in my experiences, in my studies, I've seen that with clients. And those of you that do healing work, or even, in yoga, when there's releases or healing stuff that's releases, it's really powerful when parts of us are gone, or when we go through a really intense time, when we have a learning thing happen and part of us just goes and we're never that person again, and we bring in more of who we are. It happens, I see it all the time when people forgive, when they've held a grudge and they need to let go and forgive, or someone asks their forgiveness and they give it. It's freeing. Otherwise, that's like karmic stuff. I was walking my dog this morning, and I'm going along the path at the sanctuary on Middle Road, and I'm like, oh, this is gorgeous. Maybe I'll have a sign for the talk. Well, the only thing that happened is I came upon got this shit, pile of shit. I'm like, where's the shit? I smell the shit. Come on, poop. I'm like, oh my God, it's dog poop. I said, come on, Champ, this is my dog, Champ. Let's get it off the path so nobody steps in another dog shit. So I'm pushing it off the path with the stick, and it flicks up and flies on my cheek. I'm like, I have someone else's shit on my face. I'm like, is that symbolic? It's so symbolic. It's so symbolic. Oh my God. Oh my God. The path is so full of other people's shit. The trick is to not take it on. And we care so much, though. In this room, I have caregivers. It's hard not to take it on when you love so much, and it's how you care. Then you carry them, and you carry their woes, and you carry their pain because you love them. And you don't know how to do it any other way. I feel your pain. It's really tricky. So you just have to equip them as best as possible. You say, I totally love you, and I'm noticing that I have major concern in this area. So as your parent, I'm going to teach you this way and teach you everything I know. And then you have to just, I pray a lot. I'm like, okay, they're going out. I'm going to pray, make smart choices. It's fascinating, though. That would be a really good one to those of you that are really have a hard time. I'm going to say this is going to sound weird. Letting go of the burden of love. When having a hard time letting go of the burden of love, because it can be a burden when you take it on or worry too much. And so what I encourage you to do is actually do the look in their eyes and say, how do I know you? What did I promise you in this incarnation? What is our past life together? Because I need to kind of get the tentacles out of me so that I can live and you can live instead of being so connected. It's hard. It's so difficult. But what happens? Listen, I'm not saying let go of the tie at all. I'm just saying when it becomes a disturbing, like the motorboat that's stuck, going around in circles and circles and circles, and then nobody learns. Do you know, can I just say, there are so many people that don't speak their heart's truth. Tonight was going to be called Living Your Truth. Because I have had so many sessions where I'm like, God, you are supposed to tell them. Have you told them? You didn't tell them. I have people on the other side that come forward with unfinished business. I have people on this side where I'm like, wow, they sit in front of me and I'm like, whoa, what's up with this not telling your spouse about blah, blah, blah? Or why do you have that friend that is such a burden to you, and why don't you say, I need a break from our friendship? Can we just have a little breakup for a while? Because you're taxing to me, and I can't take it anymore. It's amazing how many people, we just take on so much and we're afraid to move it up from our heart to our throat to say, this is what I need in our relationship, or this is what's missing, or this is how I've got to switch it because I'm going mad. I'm going in circles in my boat, or I've dropped anchor because I've stalled out. I'm not happy in my life. This is also true when we don't do the life we really want to do. Fear holds us back, or I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to get to the next level or to the next step. So I want to remind you that it's definitely an asking spirit. Also, can you please send me the right people that will help me with this? Because my heart, I pointed to the wrong thing. My heart and my head are in alignment, and I really feel like this is my heart and my journey and my goal in life to pursue this. So I want all the support. If I have your blessing, God, bring it on. Don't let me hold it back. Bring the support to me so that I can know the steps I'm meant to take. Now, when you ask that, whether it's with a friend, or how to handle a friend, how to handle a situation with a loved one, how to handle a career change, a house change, new house, whatever, you better be ready to follow the steps that that come nagging at you. Like, oh, Look in the paper now. Look in the paper now. I don't have time to look in the paper. Well, there was your job opportunity. I'm saying, now, you just have to ask. You just have to ask. I had this person ask me, please talk to my father. My mom is crying all the time. You see, he committed and I want to apologize to him and tell him I'm sorry and I'll be a good boy. I said, you don't need me to tell him. You just did. You can talk to spirit in your mind. It's just the intention that gets you there. They'll listen to you just as easily as they'll listen to me. And the same is true for those of you that have unspoken things that you can't tell a loved one that's living. If for whatever reason you're having a hard time communicating with a loved one that's living and they're not hearing you and they're not hearing you, you can talk to them in your mind. I always pick a quiet time, go sit in my chair, bring them up in my mind's eye, imagine them standing before me, and I tell them how I feel. And I have a talk with them. It's pretty powerful. The conversation can go two ways because you're connecting with their higher conscience. It's what I do when I do mediumship, whether the person is alive or on the other side. You too can do this. So the conversation can go two ways. So be open to what the awareness is. Like if you're saying, I'm having a hard time with you, they could say, I'm having a hard time with you too. What do I need to know? What do I need to know? Back and forth. It's pretty powerful if you carry that conversation out and see where it goes. I've done it before. I had it with this, another story to cut, stalker boyfriend. I was like, dude, you got to get out of my, God, you can't do this. I had this conversation in my head to him. Did it 3 days in a row. And finally, the guy, did he call me again, kind of? I think he called me and said, I finally got over you. I'm like, about time. I'm like, of course you did. It's because I had the conversation in my mind to his mind. I want to invite you to do that. Hopefully you don't have a stalker person. But I just want to say it's dramatic. I've had people ask me to look for missing persons. I said I don't locate missing persons. It's not my forte. Medical intuitive either. I'm glad for that. I usually see people's potential. That's what my forte is. But I did say to the person that was looking for their lost brother, they hadn't seen for years and years and years, and the family wondered where they were. I said, I'll tell them 3 days in a row, I'll say, call home, call home, call home, call your sister, call your sister, call your sister. And I said, I'll give it a go. 3 days in a row I did it, and on like the 4th day or 5th day, the guy called his sister. She called me and said, oh my God. I said, right? You too can do this. I did it because I knew it would work. You have to have confidence and faith that it's going to work. You have to believe in what you're doing. It's intention, and it's pure intention. We are such mystical beings. That's what I want you to remember. You have no idea how powerful you are. Maybe some of you do, but sometimes it's frightening. But don't hide your light under a bushel, baby. Don't. When I think and I look into your souls, I weep. This is what I am grateful for, is I see people's amazing hearts. This one woman came to me and she goes, do you only see the good? I said, yep, pretty much. I'll see, like this one guy came and I'm like, yeah, I know you are clean and sober for so many years, but that's not what God wants to talk about. You've already talked about that to God. You don't need me to reaffirm it. Okay. So, that's a lot of bizarre information. Let me ask you if there is anything you wanted out of tonight. And then, oh, can I just tell you one thing? Can I tell you, when I did that Reiki master thing, and I had that whole experience of leaving my body, I was like, please don't be a walk-in. Please don't be a walk-in. Please don't be a walk-in. Do you guys know about walk-ins? It's when some people think like there's this alien being coming in and you're leaving the planet and now your new name is Siddhartha. I'm like, no, it's not. It's Constance. Thank you. Yeah, that's not my trip, but it is some people's trip. Okay, so yeah, I have to ask. Do you have questions on the material? Do you have or other areas that you want to learn? Yes.
Can you clarify the crew thing? Are you meaning our spiritual crew or our life crew or what?
Great question. Oh my God, I have two examples of that. I meant the physical crew, like on the planet, but now I mean both. Namaste. One of my first spirit guides, because I was like, I was like I always talked with the dog and with God when I was little, but then I was like, wait, I have a spirit guide? This is cool. I'm going to talk to a spirit guide. And I met my spirit guide, and she just stood there. She was really lovely, but she didn't say a word. I was like, can you speak up? I can't hear you. She didn't say a word. I said, okay, you know what? This is crazy. So I went to my friend Stephanie. I said, Stephanie, I have this spirit guide who's really lovely, but she won't say a word. Stephanie goes, ask for a new one. I said, oh, excellent. So I said, you know what? I can't hear you. We're not on the same wavelength. So can I ask for a new one? And then whoosh, in came this guy, Samuel. He was like, rah, 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 rah. He's like a taskmaster. So my whole first year of doing Namaste healing, he was like, come, we're gonna sit. I'm gonna teach you things. I'm gonna show you past lives. I'm gonna outline a class with you. I'm like, dude, yeah. Sorry, lady. Yeah, you can totally change it up. So when what I've learned from my experience and from teaching others is we come in with a guardian angel. That's real. We also come in with a specific family guide or a personal guide, and then we also have guides that can help us at various times through our life. If you're going off to study a certain craft, you'll have a guide that will go with you on that or that you can call on to help you. Yeah, you can totally change. It's like changing friends, because they're there to help you, and you're like, we're not communicating well, so I need a new one. You can totally do that. I think you're stuck with the angel, though. Is that right? Yeah, which is a good thing. But you know what, though? We have a lot of angels. There's a lot of angels. A lot of angels. Yes, I have. I was just going to say one time I saw a whole bunch of angels, angelic light, and I tried to zoom in on them individually, but I had this autistic kid. I was going astral with this autistic boy, and he said, you can't see them with your eyes. And he was right, I couldn't. But I have had angels, giant angels, show up with people that have committed when I've gone to their parents and I've gone, ooh, they're with an angel, and they're like, wow, great question. Anyone else? Come on, this is your total good lesson. Yes, hold on.
My freakishness is what I call it, or among the family, happens mostly when I'm sleeping, and I feel people's feelings mostly, and I have a knowing and a feeling, but often I'm picking up like pain from other people and all sorts of stuff. So help me.
This I don't doubt. You're an empath. So you know this word empath? Yeah, and sensitive. So this is a great point also. So a lot of times people have psychic experiences happen to them, and I say, grab the steering wheel of that boat, baby. So you can, sometimes it's because you're a giving person, and when the second you think of them, you can all of a sudden feel how they feel. Also, too, when you're in their energetic space, I think you've got a vulnerable heart, like a real, vulnerable heart. That's the only way to say it. Kind-hearted. So, listen, I think that you did this in another incarnation. This was your modus operandi of doing healing work, but also like sussing up as a doctor in other incarnations, where you would just feel the energy pulse and emotional pulse, so that then you knew that if you could catch it on an emotional vibration, then they wouldn't have it happen on a physical vibration. So I think this is, you're very savvy, because this is a skill that you've picked up in other incarnations. So in this lifetime, it's really about knowing about your energy space and your psychic space. And so part of that is realizing that the second you wonder how they're feeling, you're going to know how they're feeling. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so it's really about mind control on your part, that if you're like, I don't want to do that right now, I'm just going to be in the third dimension. I have to do this with animals, because naturally I want to like talk to them mind to mind, and then some of them freak out and I'm like, okay, I'm just being normal, Constance, not talking to you in my mind. So it's that same thing. So you're meant to be, I get that you were an energy master in other incarnations because you worked with energy, and now it's about being an energy master again, to learn when to turn it off and turn it on if it so bothers you. But also too, first of all, would make for a great psychic, but also, you work with people on such a level. And so when you're in their physical space, you know where their troubles are. So listen, I definitely encourage you to come to my talk, Empaths and Sensitives. But part of what you can do is literally, you could make a bubble around yourself. There's some people that beam out their light so much that then they just push it, that it sends it up. But there's a like that dude that transmuted it and sucked it in. There's a part, what? You do that? Well, I think that's some of what you're meant to do. I hate to say it, that you're a transmuter. So what I would do is sit with it tonight to go, what's for my highest good, is move it out and through. Like sometimes I think that you're like an extension cord, like goes, well, I should go the other way. It goes up and out through you. But so it's about releasing, going, okay, is it for my highest good to help remove all this stuff? It's the unloading. Because you're like, tell me your woes on an energy level and an emotional, verbal level. How are you? And then you mean it. And then they're like, great, I'll tell you how I am. Yeah. Ugh. So, but it can be overwhelming because it can take you out. So really is important to remember angels work with you. I asked 4 angels to come into this room tonight to help and heal. See, this is why you all called a small gathering. This is your fault. Well, there's so few people, because you're like, I want one-on-one. So this is great. So it's not your fault. There's nobody's fault. It's all good, all divine, perfect unfolding. So, so what I would do is also say, you know what? I need you to cleanse and clear. I need you to take it off me before I leave the room. Before we started, I smudged in here because I'm a fan of smudge, but I was like, oh my God, I'm not having any crystals on me. I usually have crystals because I've got a bunch of light workers in the room, so it's good. But that's what I would do, is also at the end of the day, consciously go, take it away from me. Because I think that that's what you do more than, do you end up with headaches at all? Exhaustion. I was like, because I would think the bubble buildup would be kind of, does the bubble work for you? Sometimes kind of iffy. Try the moving through. But you can also say, what I've done is worn like an energy wetsuit, and it is intention, isn't it? Like your bubble, it's like it's gonna go up and out. Like, I don't need to feel it. You could say, I don't need to feel it, just go up. When we're just moving into a new space for me to work out of, and I put crystals all around the wall, so that when you stay in the doorway, so that when people step through, it'll be like little cleanse and clear right there. That's what I wish for you, is to just having that intention of, I need angels to stand there, and then people can be like, oh my God, I feel so good when I come into your space. They do anyway, but the trick is to not have you be exhausted. Yeah. So I'm going to take a little more time here. Do you ever use that skill set when you're working, going, hey, I know, but do you know what, in this medicine, this pain actually is speaking about your blah, blah, blah. I mean, do you ever fib a little? Yeah, you just do it. Yeah, good. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, beautiful. That's what I would do, is I would try a couple of different modalities and see how that goes. And do you meditate? Do you tune into spirit? Yeah, good. Because I would ask for an angel of grace that could help really. When I want to sleep without other people bothering me. So this is always very interesting. One could get 2 beds because it's the physical space. Oh, you're talking about spirit. Ah, that's great. You can do that too. You can set the intention, say, listen, it's not okay to bother me during my sleep time, but if you really want me to get the messages, then you have to set aside time to get the messages. You know, because you signed up for this. Here's the cool thing is that you know it's cool. You're like, I'm ready to open up this whole side. And then all of a sudden, Spirit's like, okay, I'll come. You know, you came in with that. You came in very intuitive and hyper aware. Yeah, yeah, yeah. At a very young age, you knew that. Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. Anyone else want me to walk close to you? Anyone else have questions or specifics? Do you want more specific? Mostly I'm about empowering you to realize that this is just your birthright, to be able to listen to the voices within and without, and that the signs come from everywhere. Everywhere. Hold on, just been another question. Hold on.
What do you do with synchronicities? Like you perceive them and then...
Do you know, I have a friend who has more synchronistic experiences, and she's always asking me that. And from what I've gathered from Spirit Realm is that it's just that reminder that you're on the right path. And I'm like, oh, that's exciting. Yeah. Sometimes I feel, as a soul, we set up these markers, just like we say, I'm going to meet these friends at certain points along the way, to just remind us that it's all okay. Which is a great segue into one of the things that I do. Well, in advance of a talk an evening like this evening, I send myself energy, and my little prayer is that the night is unfolding perfectly, no matter what that means. But I do that with intention, sending energy ahead to myself. But I think that we do so many things unconsciously, even to the point of having a synchronistic experience or a deja vu. So I also want to say that there's some people in this room, not just you, but there are some people in this room that are so empathic that you'll have visceral reactions to places and people that you have known before or places that you have been before. And sometimes this is in countries that you've visited or an aversion to a country that you have no desire to visit. What I would encourage you to do is to explore that reaction or that longing to actually visit a certain country or a certain place. I think a few things happen. One is because there probably is, I'm getting edited, there probably is a past life tie there. Or it could be that you left fragments of your soul, and so you have to return to reclaim. And also, sometimes it's because the frequency of the vibrational space either needs your energy, so much like you do healing work with people's energy fields. Sometimes we're called to go to certain places because our frequency does energy healing in those spaces. So I invite you anytime that you're having kind of like, oh my God, I don't feel well, or something's really not right, or God, I feel very bizarre, is to tune in and go, what is up with this? And let whatever story come to you. And sometimes even that's on a personal experience with people. You know, why do I like this person? Or why is there this connection there? Oh, I'm supposed to learn this. Or, oh, I promised that person I'd be there in this incarnation. Or, oh, That's the girl that me in the other life. I'm just kidding. I had friends that were like, do you pay attention to everything? And I'm like, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much I do. I do. I think it's especially true when we know we've kind of stepped into I don't want to say tricky life, but I do want to say tricky life, that we leave ourselves signposts along the way. A person I'm thinking of was not understood by her family, still is not understood by her family. And her synchronicities or those little moments help her realize is sane and special. I'm not saying that's your situation. I'm just saying unravel the truth that is for you. Sometimes it's to catch our attention, to go, see, life is not predictable, or life is quite magical or mystical. To me, life is about constant transformation. And the only way, I'm not going to say it. Okay, so we watched Beauty and the Beast last night. The new Beauty and the Beast. The only way he transformed was love. That's the same with us. The only way we can transform is love. When we accept who we are where we are, then we can transmute it and transform it. But we're definitely not supposed to be stuck. We're definitely not supposed to be unhappy, and it's definitely not supposed to be hard. It's not. It doesn't mean, so listen, when it is hard, because I know there's some people that have hard family scenarios, that then it's, sometimes we're born into families because we just want the genetic predisposition, or because we have some of the patterns that we're supposed to help unravel, but it doesn't mean that we have to stay with that family. And it doesn't mean that we've messed up by leaving that family. It sounds so cold. But I'm hearing get over it. Oh, I know why. Because I'm like, wait, really? Spirit, really? Because sometimes, when you feel like you're the awakener in this family, and it doesn't matter, it's like beating your head against a brick wall. Cast no pearls before swine. They don't get it. They're never going to get it. You try as you might, you try as you might. They'll never get it. And so sometimes you just have to let go and move on. Wish them well. Keep them in your thoughtful prayers or your good intentions, but it doesn't mean you have to stick around the kitchen table with them and banter on about things that you don't want to talk about anymore. I have some old friends that want to keep me in the past. I'm like, God, I'm so over those days, those people. I want deeper conversation. Our time is precious. We get to choose how we do it and how we live within each moment, with each choice. I'm asking right now if I should, there's a couple of ways we could go with this. God, but every time I think, I want to bring you into a meditation, I'm like being given more information. So See, that gravitational pull goes up. Especially true with loved ones. I need to remind you here tonight, especially with loved ones, those voices that we hear. You know, they can't see what we're doing. When we talk with them in our mind and they talk with us through their mind. I always teach people to send love as light through their heart. That emotion of love is a really strong thing, and it's so difficult when we miss someone. But those energy hugs are real. I like to get with my own people that have passed and just chat with them about nothing sometimes. You know, it's just like sharing my day with my grandmother. In the last talk, and I'm just going to remind you here, sometimes with our loved ones that have crossed, they're still attached to the personality that they knew us as in this incarnation, but other times when we connect with them, they've gone through the life review, and they are a culmination of souls from all their experiences, and so their wisdom can be wise offerings. Do not hold back from that. Do not discount the way they might speak to you directly or through a medium. Spirit says, see, we are more than what we think we know. I think sometimes that's a tricky thing when people see mediums or they get the messages from family on the other side, and they're evolved, they're more evolved or wiser or apologetic. Mostly I see in experiences where there are amends, the amend has to be made because, you know, spirit has to get it off their chest. And it doesn't happen right away. I know someone in particular that passed, oh my God, like 30 years ago. And it took like 30 Earth years for this person to come around and do a real apology. It's bizarre. Like, I'm like, really? And so I ask spirit sometimes, I'm like, is that because the spirit wasn't ready to do that? Or was the human not ready to accept the apology? And spirit's like, sometimes it's because it would fall on deaf ears. So I get people that come in for mediumship sessions and, you know, they want to get in touch with one person, but countless others show up first, and it's not always what they want to hear. I'm like, they're like, oh, aren't they telling you my nickname? I'm like, no, they're not telling me your nickname. That's the funny thing is I can't always, like when I do my work, I don't always, I'm open to whatever is supposed to come through. That's how I am when I do a lot of my sitting with God thing is I'm like, what do you want to tell me? And then sometimes God's like, well, what do you want to work on? I'm like, tell me something I need to know. And then he goes, you wouldn't believe it if I told you. I'm like, that's so you. That is so you, God. When God speaks to me, it comes in fast. I barely get the question out and the answer's flying in. Angels are the same. It's that same vibration. Where loved ones and spirit guides, I have to get the question out and then they come back with the answer. That's my experience. I was talking to a little girl who read my book, Some Dogs Talk, and she said, wow, you know, I have a dog and I talk to him all the time, and the way the protagonist, Tony, talked to him was really cool, but I don't talk to him like that. I said, how do you talk to your dog? She said, it's as if I have to open a book and I read his words. I see him in my mind's eye as a book. I was like, wow, good on you for figuring that out. Kids are really open and perceptive to the magical, mystical, spirit world, soul's awareness. I would tend to guess you all were that way too. And so sometimes we just didn't have the skill set in our youth to maintain it or trust it or sort it out. And so I'm inviting you to start a spiritual practice where you kind of keep a troubleshooting journal or a playbook and try new things and see how that works. Take a day where you're asking in focused meditation, eyes closed. I want to hear from my angel. What's that like? And notice any subtle sensations or any words or impressions that come to you.
Hey, as you follow my teachings, I've created this journal to be your companion. Your 11 Soul Senses is a journal for self discovery. It's an invitation to deepen your connection to yourself and the world around you and others. This is a good thing. Your soul senses are experienced through your higher conscious awareness. Through them, you perceive the spiritual aspects of your environment, the energy patterns, vibrations, soul level experiences, and underlying feelings. I'm laughing because I'm reading a script and it's going a little slow for me. Fully tuning into your world in this way, you increase your awareness and you begin to live your unlimited potential. These are my words, but I had to write them down to remember them. This journal is for you to document your quest for self discovery. This is a good idea. Definitions are in there to help you understand how you are perceiving through your soul senses. Don't forget, I'm all about contemporary language. Prompts and quotes that we've added guide and encourage you. The empty pages are there for extraordinary exploration as you connect with your own higher states of awareness. I think I moved my eyeballs away from looking at the camera. But listen, to get yours, I want you, I invite you, I'm encouraging you to head to constancemessmer.com and check out my shop. Listen, I did it for you. All this I do for you. You know that. I believe in you. You got this. Thanks for tuning in.
Another thing that always God tells me to tell people is, yes, you're right. You are special. You are amazing. You did come with a purpose. God says, I know, I sent you here. I made you. And then also, you are of the stars in the heavens. And your presence on earth is remarkable. And I'm counting on you to be fully you. And so me, Constance, is saying that's why it's so important that we unravel the tendrils that are hooked in us that aren't us. And we clear our mind of the nag or the past life that hold us back. So that the voices in our head are just ours or God, in my opinion. Or that divine guidance, messengers. Or was that voices of love and of truth? I was asked to be connected to the highest being that's aligned with their person's truth that can come forward and give guidance, but I shoot for way high. The voice of truth and love will never come with harm, will never have you self-harm or harm others. How could it? It's love. So, do you want me to let you know how I do it? You've probably heard this before. If you were at the last talk, you've heard it before, but I'm going to tell you again. What I do is I do kind of like a bubble thing. I'm just like, I'm going to create my space of grounding my energy, and I do it with intention. I'm going to ground my energy, and I'm going to bring my awareness up as high as I can. I'm not in my mental space at all. I'm not in third eye, even though they say third eye, psychic center, psychic awareness. I am asking for an open heart. Keep my heart open, keep my mind open, that I might know your truth. And when I set the intention, I believe it is true. So when I set the intention to talk to God, and I'm deciding to have dialogue, I trust that every word back that I don't say is God. I'm getting chills. And that's how it happens. And when you go back and forth, when I'm sitting, not when I'm lying on my bed and, God off, okay, I'm going to stay to the one sentence. Not when I'm lying on my bed or asking for a healing or walking in the woods, but when I'm sitting down and writing, I actually do G for God and M for me. And I go back and forth. And so I know I pose the question and in comes the answer. And I've done it so often enough, daily, daily, daily. Do it first thing with my coffee, that I know the voice. And then I know that when I write something and I'm like, ooh, that didn't feel like you. Was that you? And God's like, no, that wasn't me. I'm like, oh, that was me. Sorry. Okay, what did you say? What did you say, God? Lifting me up higher. Bring me higher, God. Lift me up. Like, I have two parents. I love them both, and they're still alive. I'm like, when I was little, I was like, Dad, lift me higher, lift me higher. That's what I do with God. Lift me higher. You can set with the intention of who you want to talk to. I just go way high because God knows everything. So it's with that intention, and it's in my daily practice of going high. Sometimes God's like, put the paper down. And how do I know that? It's because of feeling. Like I don't feel like writing, or I just am like, or sometimes God's like, lie in bed. And I'm like, sometimes that's in the middle of the day. I don't feel in my body. I ran errands, like I said I did. And then I got home and I was kind of walking crooked. I'm like, what is going on with me? I was not really fully in my body. And I was like, oh, lay down, Con. Now, listen, I didn't say lay down, Con, to me. I knew it was like, listen, I didn't have a choice because I was not in my body. So I lay down. And for me, I just call on God or the angels. There's an angel of grace to come over and do a healing thing. And a lot of times my body will actually shake because the energy of all the shopping and all the stuff flies off me. But I take those moments to take care of myself on a physical level. Some ways my physical, or actually it's actually taking care of my spiritual level. Not the best at my physical. And so it depends what is being made known to me, depending upon what I do. But my time is well spent with God. But other times I do sit in the chair and it's like, no, don't write, just be with me. Come up, come up, come up, come up, come up, come up, come up. So there's some people that, that I just go up. But there's some people that go up through the chakras, checking in on the chakras, starting rooted, grounded to the earth, going up, imagining moving up, their essence moving up through their body, all the way up out the top of their head and up into the, just up. Notice I didn't say heavens, because then that's a preconceived stuff, but just up to divine consciousness. Some people go inside, deep inside the heart and knowing. Listen, I've always been one to go up, but I also know God indwells, so I'm also that. I'm also, why don't you live inside me for the day, God, like fully without me? Try that. That's a trip. So that's one of the ways I do it. Another way I've taught in the classes before, is to step into an elevator and imagine it taking you up. Where loved ones reside, step off. Coming through the mist is a loved one that comes near to you. Having your communication, going back in, going up in the elevator. Stepping out into enlightened beings. What's the one thing this enlightened being wants you to know? What do they look like? How do they feel? Who are they? What do you call them? Stepping back into the elevator, going up. Let's experience angelic light. Very different vibration, incredibly different vibration than people in bodies. Angels never had a body. And then back in the elevator and going up to divine presence and the awareness found there. We could do that really quick if you want. Do you want to do that? Or do you want to go home? Let's do that really. Let's do that. We're going to do that. And we're going to, so I think we have a few different experiences that will happen in this room. So instead of my going to each of those floors Or instead of taking you to one floor, I'm going to say you're going to basically choose which floor you get off of. And so let's do the elevator one because that's kind of fun. So when I start in on my prayer time, I used to do this. I don't do it anymore because I believe I'm fully protected. Because I'm like, I'm light and love, gift from God above. I'm going in with the intention of being protected and no weirdos. So weirdos and trickster energy hangs out in lower astral, and there are weird spirits just like there are weird people on the planet that love to make havoc or love to cause trouble. So we're going to bump right beyond them. The higher you go, the lighter it is, and they can't reside in the higher vibrations. So that's usually why I go up high, 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 high. So what I would encourage you to do is feet firmly planted on the floor, legs uncrossed. Listen, there's these great things, hand mudras. I usually use them a lot when I meditate, just because they do, those of you that know energy work or do yoga, mudras direct energy. And so you might find a hand mudra or putting your hands in your lap or putting your hands to your heart because you want to know the heart's truth and the connection to the wise self that resides within you. Whatever works for you, but I would set your hands with intention of how you want them to be. When I first started the work, I did a lot of on my heart. And any time during the experience, I would move them to the heart to just make sure is that it? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you said, God? Did I get that right? Come on, God, let me feel it in my heart. But then all of a sudden when you know the voice, then you're just moved by the voice and you're like, you don't have to, you just know. So I want to remind you that for some, this might be a big experience. For some, this might be a vulnerable place to have a big experience. So it might be a little experience, but I definitely encourage you to do it well beyond these walls in your own spiritual practice on a daily basis, especially in a place that you could fall apart and have a huge experience. I think I was doing this for quite some time before I had an amazing experience that rocked my world with God. And so I am wishing for you all an amazing experience that rocks your world in as soon as possible. That is whatever is for your highest good. So eyes closed, feet firmly planted on the floor, imagining your energy grounding you down, because it's with the soul's awareness that we move up, up, up through the body, very comfortable in your chair. The intention is being set right now that whatever happens is for your highest good. We're also intending that your personal space is safe and that your information comes through loud and clear, that your awareness comes through loud and clear, that you are aware of any subtle sensations or any inner knowing or any truth as it comes to your eyes and ears. We're asking God to, or your higher power, whatever works for you, to remove any and all blocks that keep you from a powerful experience. And we ask that your experience be blessed. So as you can imagine, just focusing in on imagining your feet. Actually, let's go back to your feet. Feet grounded and centered to the earth below you or to the floor below you, beneath you. And imagine and seeing your energy moving up through your feet, up through your knees, up through your midsection and your torso, and imagining that energy firing up all your chakras and all the organs in your body as it moves up your chest cavity, the light that is you, filling and empowering you all the way up each of your arms, up to your shoulders, your light going up, up, up through your throat, through your face, into your third eye, into your crown chakra. And as you sit there in that light, all fired up, that is you, I want you to imagine a beautiful elevator door right before you. And as you imagine it, it is so. It can be however you want it to be. I want you to use your imagination to picture an elevator door. And the door opens wide and you step inside. And it is with your imagination this stuff works because it is in the imaginal realm that psychic experiences occur. So use your imagination to the fullest. Imagine that elevator is going up, up, up now. And as you go up in the elevator, you actually look up, up, up. And above you, you can see and choose where your elevator is going to stop. Is it going to stop with loved ones that have crossed? Is it going to stop with spirit guides Enlightened beings, angels, up, 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 up you go. Is it going to go to divine presence, God, higher power? Up, up, up. Your elevator goes. And as your elevator stops, you are stepping out as the doors open into a brilliant light. And in this brilliant light space, just imagine it in your mind's eye, seeing it upon you in your mind's eye, this brilliant light. And perhaps through the light comes someone or some energy form. And you immediately recognize and know who this is. And in this space, I want you to check in with your heart's truth. Who are you? Ask them. Who are you? And immediately you know who they are and what they've come for. And I want you to ask them one piece of information. Give me one piece of information that's for my highest good to know. Trust what comes in words, thoughts, feelings, emotions, visions. What is for my highest good to know in this moment? I want you to notice how you feel in this vibrational space. Ask this being to make the sensation stronger, to make the connection deeper. Please make this connection deeper. Please help me in this connection. Help shift my vibration up. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming. What else do you want me to know? What is for my highest good to know? I want you to trust the first thing that races into your mind. You're going to think you're making it up, but you're not. So we're going to ask again, what else do you want me to know? I want you to notice any subtle sensations, if your hands are warm, if your heart is warm, if your feet are hot. Keeping your focus on that being or the light that's surrounding you in this space. Really look with your mind's eye at it. Draw it closer to you. I'm going to give you a minute with this being. Ask, how can I trust that it's you? Ask, how often should I spend in meditation like this with you? How often should I come visit you like this? In this space of light and love, I want you to engulf yourself in that light. I want you to feel it heal and protect you, cleanse your auric field. I want you to thank this being for coming to you. Tell it to keep the connection clear when you meet again. Help you to make it strong and clear so that you might trust it and know the voice or the images or the sensations or the knowing. And when you are ready to leave this space, I want you to turn around and walk back into the elevator. And I want you to imagine the elevator descending down, 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 down through all the realms, through all the vibrational spaces, down, down, down. So your soul's awareness comes back into your own body, all the way down, connecting all the way to your feet. Your soul firmly planted within this physical experience here. No more astral travel to other realms. You are here fully present and alive. And when you're ready, big breath, inhale, breathing your energy in, exhaling, grounding your energy down. Big breath, inhale your energy in, exhale, grounding your energy down. And when you're ready, bring your awareness back to the room and open your eyes. Please do this at home. So when these experiences happen, I'm going to tell you a couple things, and then if someone wants to share or have questions on their experience, they can, and then we can take another minute and go back in and do it again. I always think it's helpful if you go twice up. I like the elevator thing. You literally are astral projecting when you do this. You're going to another psychic space, another space of the soul. You're going into these psychic spaces beyond, which are all around and within. So trip that one out. And sometimes as soon as you ask the question, the information comes back fast. And sometimes people have to go through loved ones before they can go higher because loved ones want to see you. And sometimes it's just an inkling. So let me tell you a bit about connecting with loved ones that have crossed. Sometimes the connection is also only as good as they can make it, all right? So sometimes these take time to build. Sometimes people can see them, their loved ones, plain as day because we're using the imagination to drum up their image. There's nothing wrong with this. Again, it's the imaginal realm that is an organ of the psychic senses, an organ of the soul. The thing is to trust the subtle sensations because it's like flexing a muscle and working a muscle. To me, the psychic sense is a muscle. And the more you work it, the better you get at it, the stronger you are. And with greater awarenesses, you can have the experiences because you know what's right and what's you're making up and what to look for. Now, sometimes you think you're making the whole thing up. But with more practice, you're going to realize, I didn't make that up at all. But you can ask, am I making this up? Listen, a nothing answer is different than a no answer. A no is, no, I'm not making this up. A nothing answer, if you ask, am I making this up? And then you don't get a question, ask the question differently. Is this real? And then you'll get a yes. I studied journalism, so I know sometimes you have to ask the right question. It's how you ask the question. Does anyone want to Does anyone want to share their experience or ask a question about their experience, or just want to go back up? Hold on.
Your voice changed at one point for me. Yes, as we were going up, probably about midway, your voice got much like a much lighter. Interesting.
It could have been when we were passing through near angelic, maybe. Yeah. So I've channeled the angelic realm once before, and it's pretty amazing because it's such a high frequency, totally different than talking to people, like people that have walked on the earth. So I'm not surprised because I was going up through the realms in case anyone was going that high. No, I didn't even notice it changed. Wow. Do you want to try it again? We'll give it one more go. So feet firmly planted on the floor and grounded. Listen, the biggest thing is to just say, just trust, okay? Just trust the experience. In my book, let me tell you this before we go in. In my book, Some Dogs Talk, the protagonist always feels like he's making it up. And so he teaches his brother how to talk to dogs. And they don't, well, I'm not going to give it away because in case you get the book or in case you read it. He teaches his brother, and his brother's like, "Oh my God, I think he goes, ask the animal how old he is," and the brother goes, "I think it's 9 or 11. I don't know. I feel like I'm making it up." And then Tony, the protagonist, goes, "Welcome to my world. Now you know how I feel." It's because you do when you're first starting or when you're unfamiliar, when you're meeting someone new, you're like, "I can't be making this up," but it's pretty. It's not, and oftentimes it's because what they're saying is not something you would even think of saying, but also sometimes it's very predictable. a lot of times there's a lot of, I love you, I miss you. If you hit a loved one or God, too, God's like, I love you. Do you know how much I love you? God always says that. So if you're getting that, that's real. Okay, so eyes closed, feet firmly planted. Taking a big exhale breath, grounding your energy down into the earth. Inhale. And as you inhale, I want you to imagine moving your energy up, 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 up into the heart chakra. Let's stop at the heart chakra. And from the heart chakra, you're going to send your energy, your own energy, out and around you like a big beam of light. This is your protected space. We're going to fill and cleanse your auric field in this moment. Exhaling the love light, that energy that flows through your heart chakra up and out. Inhaling, grounding your energy down into the earth. Exhaling out a font of light from your heart. Inhaling. Okay, from this space, we're going to move up through your body, up all the way. So now your torso's full, your heart is full, your energy is moving up, up, up through your throat, into your head and third eye, into your crown chakra, the connection that is connected to all that is, your connection to the divine, your own inner awareness, your guidance, your knowing. And in this full light body presence, you're going to imagine right in front of you is an elevator. And you imagine this elevator opening. And as you step into the elevator, you know where you can go. You are going to direct this elevator exactly where to go. You turn around, the doors are closing, and your elevator is going up. You can even push a button as to where you want to stop. And your elevator is going up, up, up. And as it goes up, 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 your head goes up, 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 and back as you watch the floors and the levels go by, up, up, up. And if you want to get off and talk to loved ones, your door will open. If you want to wait and go higher still to spirit guides, you can go higher still. If you want to go higher still to enlightened beings and have conversation with anyone there, higher, higher, higher. And as you go higher, your head goes back and up, up, up. Your soul is going up, up, up. You could get off in the angelic realm and have an experience of angelic light and the vibration of the angels in that space. And if you want to go up, 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 up higher still, to get out and have a divine relationship experience with all that is. When it is time for your elevator door to open, it opens comfortably and you step out into the light. And in this space of light, conjure it up in your imagination if need be. You are surrounded by light and a fog of sorts. And have someone, you see someone actually, stepping through the fog in the distance, and they're coming nearer and nearer and nearer. Or perhaps you see a bright light. It's not a person at all. Perhaps you see a bright light coming at you. And as this being comes to you, you know immediately who it is. Who are you? Ask. Perhaps you recognize their face. I want you to pull in all the details, what they look like. If they're light, notice the colors. In this space, I want you to ask, tell me something I need to know. Ask to make the connection stronger. Just ask God, please make this connection stronger. Please keep me clear, keep my ego out of it. Bring me higher, 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 and make this connection stronger. So in this space with this being that stands before you, that is before you, I want you to have a couple minutes of conversation. I'm going to stop talking, but I want you to drive the conversation. If you're having difficulty, move your hands to your heart and ask yourself, why am I not having an experience? Trust the first thing you get. Please make the connection stronger, ask. Ask for one more piece of information. And then I want you to ask for a sign. Please give me a sign, a physical sign. Show me an image in my mind's eye so that when I see this sign in the next 24 hours, that I know this communication will be real. So the sign is what? Trust the first thing that comes to your mind. Trust the first thing. Hold it in your hand if you can't see it, so you could feel it. Know what it is instantly. This is your sign that this experience was real. Thank this spirit in advance for the sign. You are not to go looking for the sign. Spirit loves surprises. When you see this sign, you'll know that this experience was real. Reach out in love. Send light from your heart. Thanking them for coming. And when you're ready, turn back to the elevator to go. And when you're ready, take the elevator back down. Down, down. Down, down, down. Down from the realms, the vibrations of spirit. Down back into your body. Knowing that you can go up to the vibrations of spirit or inside to connect with these loved ones anytime you so choose. The mind loves to embellish, but the heart knows the truth. Let your heart guide you in these communications and in this connection. So ground your energy in your heart. Ground your energy all the way down to your feet. And with each in-breath, draw your energy in your body. And with each exhale, ground your energy into the ground. With each in-breath, draw your energy deeper into your body. With each exhale, ground your energy down to your feet. One more time, inhale. Your energy in, exhale, your energy out. And now this time I want you to draw your energy in with an exhale and send the energy out through your heart so that it opens up your heart chakra fully. And with intention, as you intend it, as you believe it, it is so. Asking that your heart remain open and guide you through life so that you might tap into your inner knowing at any point. You might listen to the voice of your soul as it guides you on your inner ear or your inner vision. Knowing that you have all the tools within. And when you are ready, bring your awareness back to the room and open your eyes. A long time ago when I was doing the work, like, God, 15 years ago or something, I used to do these meditations. Like, people would drop in and I'd, like, say, I don't even remember, I think I charged $20 for the meditation, and I'd do a different realm in each meditation. It was pretty powerful. People would bring journals. We did animal totems, all sorts of different things. I might do that again. Because in those ideal situations, then you'd go longer, for longer periods of time, so that you could really then troubleshoot afterwards with the group, if need be. The biggest thing is trust in this work. We're all capable of doing this. I'm as special as you are. You're so funny, God. I'm like, but that was a really cool close. And he's like, just ask me, I'll tell you. So I was going to say, In keeping with the theme of navigating the psychic terrain, I was going to say, sailors of old and even still will use the heavens to navigate their way, and they will use their intuition. And I really hope that you'll still use both as you navigate your way through your course of your spiritual life and your physical life. So I want to thank you all for coming out, and I want to encourage you to continue this as a spiritual practice. I know that was a lot of information. Maybe some familiar, maybe some new, but I want to gently remind you that one of the joys that I've found in my work is to constantly tune into the spirit realm of my own psychic terrain so that I can use it to not only enhance my life day to day, but empower my life day to day. And so I just invite you to pay attention more to your spiritual world in that way as you do your physical. Namaste.
So there you have it. I'm going to put this back into the vault. Thank you so much for listening all the way to the end. I so appreciate you. If you really liked this content, I encourage you to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. My work is always to encourage spiritual growth and health, and I am here for you. I believe in you. Thank you so much. My name is Constance Messmer. It has been a pleasure spending this time with you. Legally speaking, this podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for medical diagnosis, treatment, or the advice of a physician, psychotherapist, or other qualified professional. You should not use this information to diagnose or treat a health problem or condition. Always check with your doctor. Thank you.